We keep a nice, lazy pace as we near the little town at the crossroads. Sun's hanging low, lamps are shining, and Banshee's panting like a dog. 5 days we've been pounding down the road, going off whatever clues our quarry forgot to cover up. Bastards have a solid head start. Another night sleeping in the saddle ain't gonna fix that. Banshee needs some rest, and I could go for a beer. Besides, trail leads right into town. Better than even chance somebody's seen something. Halfway house is filled with the usual collection of working folk, drifters, and straight-up drunks. I can hear them laughing like the devil's own furies from outside, but they all go quiet as soon as I set a foot in the door. Can't say I blame him. Fellow walks into a place with a pair of Kasdan 44s on his hips, that's reason enough to look for cover. That fella has a bunch of skulls tattooed up and down his arms, well, nobody'd fault you for just up and leaving. And more than a few folks do. I give him a nice big smile and tip my hat to him. I even hold the door. Has to be at least one bounty to claim in there, but they're not the ones I'm looking for. Probably not worth all that much anyway. Conversation strikes up again as I head for the bar, quieter now. Barkeep locks eyes with me, and the look on his face is just begging me to turn around and leave. Most folks are looking at their drinks, but I catch something else out of the corner of my eye. Quick look between two tables. Far right-hand corner of the room, in a booth just ahead of me, 2 women and a man in brown cloaks drinking real slow. Clothes say drifters. Haircuts say something different. Short. Close trimmed. Mercenaries. Organized ones, too. Back left-hand corner at a table with a straight shot to the door, there's another man and woman. Same deal. Well, I'm all smiles as I lean on the bar, keep the first group to my front and the second in peripheral. Not the way I wanted to do this. There's sweat on the barkeep's brow as he asks what I'm drinking. Glass of water, which I down in one long, glorious gulp. Then it's a pint of stout. His hands are shaking as he pours it. I ask how business has been. He grunts fine without looking at me. He's not gonna be much help on his own. Hear about what happened up in Kingston? I ask. Few hundred hectares of farmland put to the torch, near 30 people dead. Gang in the booth put their mugs down. Another quick look at the gang by the door. Barkeep mutters, "Those fucking exiles again," and slides my beer over. I take a good long sip. Wasn't exiles, I keep going. Happened in full view of the city walls. Ever known exiles to be that ballsy? And that's when the hands go under the cloaks. Man gets up from the table by the door and starts walking towards me. A few more people go to leave, and the barkeep starts to crouch. Folks heard auto rifles, too. Never heard of an exile carrying that kind of gear. The merc behind me draws a knife just in time to get the rest of my pint in the face, glass and all. Then the Kasdans are out. Barkeep hits the deck, civilians run for the door, but the mercs are drawing their guns. The man with the knife goes down first. My right-hand gun drills one straight into his shoulder. Then, with my left hand, I fling a few wild shots at the gang in the booth, catch one of the women right in the neck. There's a lot to be said for sheer dumb luck on this job. I vault the bar and hit cover just as the first rounds tear up the bottles behind it. The remaining mercs in the booth have me pinned now. Boots on the floor, making a beeline for the bar. I guess it's the last merc by the door, going for her wounded buddy. Before I can deal with her, though, one of the women from the booth gang moves in to finish me off. I plug her soon as she sticks her head over the bar. Give the ceiling a new paint job. Her partner's still flinging a wall of lead at me. I hear the wounded man scream and curse. They're moving him. It's really gonna wreck my evening if they get him out the door. Then, the one in the booth gives me an opening. Either he jams or he has to reload, but he stops firing. I'm up. The merc by the door has the wounded one over her shoulders, and they're almost out. I draw a bead, then I see the man in the booth drop his rifle. He goes for his sidearm, and I shift aim. 4 rounds in the chest, and he drops like a sack of bricks. Gives the other 2 all the time they need to scoot, though. They're mounted and running by the time I make the door. That could have gone better. Kingston's offering $200 per head for any mercs I put in the ground, but the big payday's if I manage to bring in a breather. 2 shots at $1,000, riding off somewhere I'm not going to like. Remaining civilians are running for the hills when I step back in. Looks like the mercs are the only casualties. Well, them and a cellar's worth of perfectly good alcohol. I pull my knife out and check the bodies, see if they got anything I can use as proof of death. They're still wearing their unit patches, and what I find does not make me any happier. Barkeep's still in cover, drinking whiskey straight out of the bottle, shaking like a leaf. I slam some cash on the table, get his attention, tell him to get everyone the hell out of town pronto. Those mercenaries have about 20 more friends out there, and they are not liable to take this well. He runs off, and I look back at the patch in my hand. Swooping hawk with blood on its beak. The red tails. High-end company. Not the kind you can hire cheap. They know me. And they don't like me. Huh. Guess that's 3 things you've got in common with them, eh?